make a move and the bunny gets it.
I said, put the bunny back in the box. Why couldn't you put the bunny back in the box?
It's showtime.
I'll find you, Locutus, my creator. From your chaotic bones I shall make my order. Congratulations, recruits.
I'm so excited!
I don't want to babysit two spoiled princes.
I need to make a good impression of the soldiers. This is a silly waste of time.
What? Is that my long-lost magic ruby? Empress, find my ruby!
Your will is my command, my master. We're invading Terra to find Balmain's ruby.
Go forth, save the innocent, and punish the wicked.
Yes, Father. I have an easy life. But is that all there is?
The ruby could win this war once and for all. Let's kick the nest and see what falls out.
Locutus calls to his creations for help.
Where are we?
What are those things? We have to get out of here.
Have the gods gone mad?
The Bomanites have invaded Terra. Has the last shard of Locutus' heart been found?
The war cannot continue without the heart. We can't risk losing it if it's there.
You've come to the wrong place. Terra is under my protection.
Roar. Roar.
Colonel Ironside's here. 200 years I stood in the gap, fighting those who would harm my country. It was my honor, my sacred duty, so help me God. 9 times they took my life. 9 times I stood back up and made them pay. The freedom fighter I could handle anything, but someone betrayed me. I was ambushed, made mortal, rendered powerless, and retired. They passed an amendment that made me a civilian before I left the hospital. For 50 years, I watched my country change. Watched its work while erasing me from history. The day I quit my job, I powered up and discovered they lied about that too. I'll remind them of freedom. I'll remind them of duty. I'll remind them of their oaths and who they serve. I'll remind them while I'm shoving it down their throats.
Psychically, I'm very well endowed.
I wanna know what you're thinking. There are some things you can't hide. I wanna know what you're feeling. Tell me what's on your mind.
Hey there, welcome to the Rabbit Hole. Today is the Monday call-in show, and we got an incredible guest here today. Now, this subject is particular subject. He and I have gone around zone. We definitely kind of know each other's kind of points of view, but hoping there's some surprises. Let me bring him on, but I got a special introduction. He doesn't know about this, so.
The Western world is in ruin and ready to collapse. The so-called resistance leaders, they rage bait the slaves, pushing their own demise. Stay angry indeed. Black pills of despair rain from the sky. No one can stop the fall. No one can stop Black Chad, demon of despair.
Stop putting your emotion into it.
Wait,
we need to look for alternatives.
What's this?
We need to look for solutions. We can't just, give in to despair and this program demoralization of the West. Come on, guys.
What? You're not full of rage or despair? Fine. I will imprison you in an astral dungeon and keep you away from the others. No one will hear about your alternatives or your solutions or your silly indie brands. No one cares. The despair programming must continue.
What?
Welcome to Forever, nerd.
You haven't won, Black Chad.
Oh, yeah?
I'll talk to and review every indie creator I can, and we'll fight against your despair.
Even the bad ones?
Yes, even the bad ones.
Oh.
You don't get it. I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me!
Oh.
Now on with the show.
I love it. Who was that young, strapping lad? He's
there you go. Well, I was kind of like, how do I introduce this guy? And I was thinking of several clips, and I was like, holy crap, I got the Black Chad thing. Holy, I'd be stupid not to use that. Especially considering the message that is involved in that clip. Kind of like pertinent to what we're talking about today. Wouldn't you agree?
Sure. Yeah, I guess it is. I mean, a lot of the Black Chad, he says, yeah, it was pulled exactly from Hate Watchers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, stay angry.
I think you got a lag in
I heard
your...
that. Yeah, we'll just deal with it. We'll just deal with it.
Okay.
But yeah, the stay angry was pretty obviously from what's his name?
I mean, Doomcock.
It escaped me. The guy with the Doomcock. Shit. I just call him Buckethead because he's pretty much literally got a bucket on his head. Anyway, got Cruel Bareb today. Mr. from Scotland. Hey, welcome. And hate watching. Like hate watching the show. Yeah, everybody needs a troll. Fortunately, he doesn't ever stay around long enough to troll me for more than the initial 5 minutes. So,
yeah.
It's a good thing. Anyway, if he stayed the whole show, it'd be annoying. All right. So, okay. All right. I love you too, Will. I love you too, dude. All right. Okay. Well, basically, what I've got a clip that kind of like sums up a lot of what we're talking about today. I've got a longer clip. We'll talk about that one a little bit, but this is a shorter one. This is the one you pointed out to me. Now, the guy who clipped it, is obviously a Fruit Loop, but it's an apt it's an apt clip, but not for the reason he clipped it. But we'll just play it right quick.
No. Welcome to every video we make. We use one little thing and then we build the narrative out of it. Don't act like that's not what we do.
I don't build a narrative. I
You
give
are
my
an absolute
opinion.
fucking. That's
you are hard.
what we do. You've made the same fucking video on the same topic at least 7 times a week, Ryan. And you're gonna act like we don't do that.
I talk about I talk
Larson
about
says one fucking thing and we make a whole video out of it. That's what we do.
I talk about
Looks like a fun show, I guess. I don't know. Get a lot of views, don't they?
Well, I actually watched that show when that showed up. That particular. I mean, I remember the basically the context being that he and Ryan go at each other all the time, and the joke is that he and Ryan are basically geeks and gamers, okay, and so they're pretty much the whole store, and so him attacking Ryan is just inside joke, of course.
I don't know
But
who Ryan is.
I do think there was a little bit of truth. Ryan Kendall, RK Outpost. He was a big Star Wars channel. Now he's
the
a
big head.
culture.
Gotcha.
The guy with the big head. The guy with the big head, yeah. And the F-bombs.
He has a very small face, too.
Always. Yep.
It's a weird
Yeah, it's weird.
But it's different.
Yeah, it looks kind of he's like a living Funko Pop, But oh, got some comments over here. Let me see what's going on. Everybody's saying hey. Okay. There you go. Well, Grill says, well, there you go. True. You can't get more clear than that. Hell Wrangler and Hell Edwin. Welcome. But yeah, I mean, it was meant as a joke, obviously, we're not Pez dispensers. We do know the context matters. Okay. In that particular instance, hold on a second. Let me get this comment down. There we go. All right. So, what you think about the clip?
It seemed pretty much right on. I mean, I'm sure it's at a parody or sarcasm or something. It's like Chris Farley swings on a pole in a small coat and sings about. Doesn't mean he's not fat and wearing a little coat. So,
right.
Still, you can be right on the nose and still be funny about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little self-awareness there. Obviously, that they're kind of in on it. They do understand. If I go to the trending tab on YouTube, which is available in the studio, and I check on what's trending today, I can tell you what most of them are going to be doing their videos on.
Yeah,
and obviously they're working with the YouTube system to get their channels pushed. Hold on a second. I got a comment over here from RJ.
They're right in the
Welcome to
algorithm.
show, RJ. Right.
Sorry, it's the lag, dude. It's gonna
not
throw
here
us
for a
off
long
the
time.
scroll.
Here for Oh, I get it. I'm working with you. Go ahead.
Oh, that's all. I was just saying.
Oh, okay. That's
lag,
okay. All right. No problem. I don't want to try to talk over you. We do have a lag today, guys. Just to stay with us. But all right. Wrangler says, I voted yes, but only for a while. I agree with much of what they have been saying, but repeatedly slamming bad productions has become tiresome. I would like to return to talking about cool, fun stuff. Now, there's a demarcation. Okay, that's a good point, because I think what they started out as is not what they are now. Would you agree with that?
I'm not sure. I don't know. Excuse me. I think it's basically
Okay,
the same. It's just that they haven't offered any solutions, so it's just really it's the same thing. Wait. I will say I have not watched them in probably a few. Maybe they are, suggesting more, solution. Hey, what's up, John?
Well, now the thing that I give them the most credit for, and this is me doing my best to be fair and balanced here. I'm not trying to fall on either side here. I'm just trying to cover this as even keeled as possible. And one thing that they have done very well is they have informed the public about the ESG grift, DEI corruption, and the connection between the BlackRock Vanguard and public policy and what's happening in pop culture. They've basically created that link, and they've informed the public, and so you see a lot more people know what they're looking at when they look at a movie, and there's obviously miscast person there. They know what they're looking at, and I will give them all the credit in the world for that. I didn't know about a lot of this stuff until I started ESG. The first time I heard that was on Ethan Van Sciver's channel, and he was basically hearing about it from ironically Yellow Flash. Once upon a time, they were pretty tight.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is once that came out, about the whole ESG program, and a lot of those connections were made. It made a lot of sense, and I will always give them credit for that. They have done a great job in informing people, not only that it's bad, but why. Critical Drinker is probably better at this than Gary from Nerdrotics. Gary pretty much resorts to it sucks, but
yeah.
But the thing, but that to informing the public about what's going on behind the scenes that creates the environment that has caused what you're looking at was a invaluable service. Okay. I definitely say that. What do you think about that? What are your feelings on that?
I don't know. I don't get my really sure. I mean, I hope that's true. I'm glad it's true for you. So yeah, getting people knowledgeable on G and stuff like that. Yeah. If you didn't know about DEI through your corporation that you work for, I'll hear it from these guys. Sure. I just want to know, is Kathleen Kennedy fired yet? I heard there was a civil war going on. She was going to be fired any year now.
Yeah,
was that Mike Zero? Maybe that was Mike Zero. I don't know.
That's Mike Zero. Mike Zero and Doomcock, definitely.
Yeah,
they've been declaring her fired for going on like 5 years.
She really fucked up this time.
Ooh, she's gone tomorrow. The internet, like radio before, has become dominated by disenfranchised voices, just like with radio, the media wants to silence it, right? Okay. Why this has become interesting is lately the mainstream is like they suddenly discovered these guys. Okay. The same people that are calling them a bunch of mama's boy incels living in mama's basement, screaming into the void, who have no impact whatsoever. Suddenly, there's hit pieces everywhere. Suddenly, the reason why Acolyte failed, or the reason why this failed, or the reason why that failed is because of guys like this. And they're mentioning them by name in articles all across the country. And so they're becoming the boogeyman. Gamergate 2, kind of like came and went very quietly compared to the first one. But a lot of these guys were Gamergate. A lot of these guys came up with Gamergate. They came up with the Fandom Menace, And they came
Yeah,
in,
that
and
was
as
basically
those things have
in the balloon of culture, right? Where it was like Gamergate pushed the down, all kinds of stuff. Like for instance, Comicsgate becoming a thing. So sure.
Right.
Uh-oh. Did I lose you?
Right. RJ. Nope, I'm here. Sorry, my fault. RJ says it's not beneficial to crap on everything that comes out. At a certain point, it's just dwelling on the negative, but every now and then it's beneficial and cathartic to point out what's wrong. Correct. And Kathleen Kennedy is getting fired. I think that's just making everybody wish. Yeah, it's not happening, guys. That chick is the best connected person in Hollywood.
Apparently.
She has connections to everybody.
Yeah.
She is going nowhere, okay? Until she wants to. So there you go.
She got naked.
I'm clearing it up for you right now. She is not going anywhere anytime soon until she wants to. Go. She knows where the bodies are buried. Okay, she knows where a lot of the bodies are buried. She probably helped.
All of Spielberg's secrets.
So she's not going anywhere. Anyway, all right. Hey, Dame. Yep, and Lucas. And Marshall, her husband. So she's not going anywhere. All right. And if you don't like something, give it attention it deserves. None. Right. Okay. Now. Okay. That being said, I've given them their kudos. I've given them their support. All right. Now, she probably knows where the metaphorical bodies are buried, right? She does.
I doubt it's a metaphor.
Okay. Now, I doubt it. Now, where the indictment comes in is they are keeping the candle lit for the mainstream. They are keeping all the focus on the mainstream, and they are keeping the normies focused on the mainstream rather than independent space.
Yeah.
The true independent space. I'm not talking about multi-millionaires that have bought their way into the independent space. I'm talking about the true independent space. People that have day jobs, who never sniffed the mainstream. And hey, Dylan, but people that have limited resources, that are basically paying artists and paying production out of their pocket change. Basically.
Tell me about it. Yeah.
And doing the best they can out here. But they are creating an amazing IPs that I've ever seen. And yet there's very few channels are even pushing stuff like that. This is one of the very few. And I think Bancroft would be the granddaddy of that. You've done a lot of people with Friday nights. Those guys have done a lot of. Do they even know about the independent?
I'm losing you.
Space. This video clears it up. And there's a lot of F-bombs. Sorry to advance. I had a potty mouth that day. So, but
I don't know, Bunny.
I'm going to play this because
you're freezing up really bad.
Do they know about the independent space?
Five Nights at Freddy's. That movie was not made for a single person on this panel. It wasn't made for any of us because none of us knew anything about it. So yeah,
it was made for my kid.
Exactly. And I went into it. I'd never played Five Nights at Freddy's, and I just went into it basically out of curiosity. I watched the movie, and it's clear that they were not making the movie for me or anybody else that didn't know the universe. But the enthusiasm from the fan base made me go, I love this. And I kind of want to see what's going on here because people are passionate about it and the people behind it. And it's made on a $20 million budget. It's already made $200 million worldwide on a $20 million budget versus the Marvels with a reportedly $300 million budget
300.
production. And why does that need to have that type of budget? What's going on? I don't understand it. Makes no sense to me.
Five Nights at Freddy's is an independent film, an expensive independent film. That's what it is. You're allowed to take chances with those because of the budget. You know, why did Kevin Smith last so long in Hollywood? He was profitable. His films were cheap. They were niche, but they made money. And I think that really is the future. That's the future of comics.
Absolutely.
That's the future of music.
I think all
the future of
entertainment is
publishing.
Yes.
Yeah. Lower budgets and higher profitability. Was it Todd McFarlane who said, you know, he had the big name and everything at Marvel, but he went over to Image. He didn't sell as many Spawn comics. He sold a lot, but he made more money.
Maybe
it was more profitable. The good writers will be fine. They'll always be fine.
Oh, well, the ones that I would argue that I don't want to say need to be micromanaged, but the ones that probably have no business being near that content are the ones that just are not going to thrive. And this is why it's important to have the guys like Chuck around, even like with what we're doing over here at the Rippaverse. But the industry right now is a bunch of weird kind of elitist. It's elitism with people that aren't actually elite. Yeah. Hey, they don't really know what the fuck it is they're doing. They don't have a talent base or any of that, but they will prop each other up and do the victory laps despite comic sales maybe being in the fucking drain right now. So you need the guys of the world like Chuck, and I think those are the people that in the future are going to thrive. They're going to thrive. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know exactly everything's going to fucking look like, but look, man, seeing the current trends of what's happening with the Marvels and the DCs of the world, I just don't know how long is that going to last. We learned that one of the long-standing comic shops out of LA gone, and it ain't gonna be the fucking last one. Like these motherfuckers are closing down left to right, and that what came first, chicken or the egg? Who's ruining it? Comic shops have something to do with it. Creatives have something to do with it as well because they're putting shit on the shelves that they can't sell. I think it's a combination of a lot of that. But there have been the certain undesirables that I believe could have fixed this fucking industry, but they you want to talk about gatekeeping? They kept them out, like the Chuck Dixons of the world. Like I've said before, like the fact that I could even approach Chuck in a just society. Goddamn it, that wouldn't have even been an option. But
he would have been up to his eyeballs and work at DC. Like if they were smart, which they're not.
But this is why they gatekeep them. That's why they gatekeep your Chuck Dixons of the world. But he will go down in history, Chuck. You will be down as one of the greatest comic book writers of all time, and that's just a goddamn fact. And the reason why they don't want people like the Chuck Dixons of the world around is because they are so insecure. Yep. Because Chuck has proved himself over and over and over again. There are many people who are now blacklisted from the industry because they are so insecure. Because the people who have been brought in not on talent, they've been brought in for a superficial reason. Yep. And they have had smoke blown up their asses. Oh, we're bringing you on because stunning and brave. But they don't have the talent to back it up. So their hierarchs in the companies are telling them, you're great, you're wonderful, oh, you're brilliant, here's all the work. And then the sales aren't there. The sales are not there. And then they go, why aren't the sales there? I've been told I'm fantastic. I've been told I'm brilliant. We've got so much faith in you. I've got this and I got that. That's how you can tell because the insecurity then kicks in. Because rest assured, most of them, there'll be some of them that are completely oblivious, but most of them know they shouldn't be there.
As they solve that problem, they stopped reporting sales.
Well, Gary, you're not wrong. You jest, but you're not wrong.
No,
that there is a massive kernel of truth in what you just said there.
But to Az's point too, like the thing is, when they get insecure like that, what do? They lash out at the fans. They lash out at the customers and they lash out to the fans and they say, you don't want to buy my stuff because you're racist or you're sexist or you're all that. And here's the thing, like the cope is so strong that we've seen it and Rippa's had to deal with it constantly. People literally are going, he's forcing his fans to buy his books. He's forcing these people to buy these books. Like he has Chuck Dixon like held up in a room somewhere and he's forcing him to write comic books. He doesn't have any creative control. Like it's crazy because it's all projection because that's what they're doing to themselves.
Absolutely.
And like as said, they know they don't belong there. Yep. They know they don't have the creativity.
I saw one criticism. It was the greatest criticism of all time. Somebody said Alpha Core is not successful because of Rippa. It's successful because of Chuck Dixon. And I'm going, that's what Rippa says.
That's the
fucking okay. Like I don't know. Like,
you're right.
Yeah.
We got
good
served.
Job, buddy.
Oh wow.
You goddamn right. It's his name.
Uh-oh.
Okay, let me go off camera. Maybe the lag will be better. So what do you think about that?
I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, one thing about it that you know, I took from it is that they are aware of the independent space. They're aware of the change that needs to happen, and yet they keep the focus on the mainstream, and I think that's where my problem comes in that I think, you know, it's not an ignorance of the true problem of the independent not getting the same, you know, support, not getting the same platforming as the mainstream. Who do they choose to platform? They choose to platform the guy who could buy his way into all the spaces, who has a massive platform, maybe more massive than any other, you know, YouTuber out there, and so I don't have a problem with the pop culture commentary. That's necessary. It's vital. But I think my biggest issue is when you are relying on people's disenchantment of the mainstream to be your whole entire reason for being. What happens? What happens when people abandon the mainstream? Or that from happening?
And consider this. All right. To constantly make videos about how everything that I said was, well, just using that as an excuse. You could say that about any major pop culture thing that company, and that's mainly what I'm talking about. And every time that I talk about it, to it actually sucking, I talk about just how bad it really sucks. You're at home every time. And constantly tag engine, you know, keywords and all that stuff to get on the algorithm or chat, you know, super chat, whatever it is. Hey, that's also in from the way I see, that's adding to the problem. I do think that, I think that they, you know, I'm not just gonna, you know, poo-poo. Although I don't like them, they say, you know, to me, the first step. Okay, so most of the people who nostalgia being pissed on, and the people who hate them mocking them, he comes up with a show going, "Look at what they're doing to you." At first you're gonna, those motherfuckers, you know, and then eventually, you know, a grown-ass man goes, what else is there? You know, I'm not just gonna sit here and pick scabs and you know, twiddle in the shit. No, I want to find alternatives, so I'm not right. So what I've mostly seen is fans of theirs finally going, well, I want to find alternatives for them and still, you know, roll around in the pig shit, like, you know, about, but then they also are looking for alternatives and themselves from what I've seen. So, I mean, they do serve a purpose. Whether or not I like them, I don't know. But watching help only in my opinion, only insofar as it gets people to start the process of saying there is a problem, it's a solution to the problem, instead of just dwelling on the problem.
Well, also the problem has become their entire reason for existence, and it's become their revenue stream. And and I mean, if you look at what they're doing today as opposed to a few like just a year or two ago, before the mainstream had this big gigantic contraction, I think the ESG stopped flowing about 2 years ago, and I really started seeing contraction happen pretty seriously in 2023. The backlash got bad. Games and movies and television shows started tanking left and right because people just had their feel. And their education, letting people know why stuff, what woke actually is. I know we don't like to use the word, but it's the word that pretty much everybody uses. But a lot of people don't have the lexicon to figure out what they're looking at. And these guys have done a good job of educating people.
I mean, with using the word woke is, I think it's fine. I actually have a friend of mine. It's like I guess his politics would be similar to, well, and he's male. I think he's like.
Whoop, did we freeze?
Am I still here?
Yeah, you're still here.
All right. Sorry. I guess I blinked out for a second. I'm not sure what that was about. Anyways, so I forgot where I was going. Yeah, he doesn't like the word woke, but really what woke is, it's a simplified explanation of Marxist critical theory. You say, oh, it's woke. You know, and most people aren't educated politically enough to know what Marxist critical theory, is. Not that I'm going to sit here and give a precise definition, but the point is that in general, you say, oh, it's woke. And the normies would be like, yeah, it's woke.
Right.
So I'm fine with that. I'm not against, using that at all. I know that there's a lot of backlash, right? Like, Democrats that I work with are like, oh, I hate that word. What does woke mean? What is that? And then like, do I really have to explain your own ideology to you? I guess I will,
Right.
Anyways.
Right. Yeah. Well, so but the thing about it is what has to happen is there has to be a pivot at some point. Basically away from being a barnacle on the dying well of the mainstream to building something. And I mean, when you look at what Critical Drinker is doing, he's working on his own movie from his own IP. Gary just put a book out, which is like a biography, I think, which I'll probably get. I'm really fascinated about his story. He has a great story. But the thing is, a few years ago, the Geeks and Gamers got an opportunity to do a crowdfunder for Zack Snyder, and they actually had him on a stream. Yeah,
really? Okay.
It was his daughter. I think his daughter passed away from she
Minecrafted herself,
and Minecrafted herself or whatever. And I think they were like raising funds in his daughter's name for suicide prevention, Minecrafting prevention or whatever. Anyway,
watch out for the YouTube overlords.
Right. But what happened was he got on there and immediately denounced hate and he'd been on streams all that day, and he had never done that. And then he gets on that stream, and there's black people and a Asian sitting right there on that stream on that same panel, and he's like, denouncing Asian hate on their stream.
Okay.
And there was a big backlash against that. I kind of like watched a lot of people like made hay on that, but I think essentially that showed the basic incompatibility of the mainstream with.
I don't understand.
with the
Why
YouTube.
was he denouncing hate just being on Geeks and Gamers? I don't understand.
Well, the theory is that he got talked to about Geeks and Gamers being basically a hate group, and and so, but because they raised all that money, he had agreed to do it. He came onto the stream, but kind of like keep people off of his back. He opted to, essentially, indemnify himself for being on a stream, and they got a lot of backlash about that. But
he
I think
wanted
that
to
really shows.
clean his hands and say I had nothing to do with this. Is that it?
That's exactly what is believed that he did. And some people
What
like
did
praised him for that, and
Geeks and Gamers say to him?
well, they lost a lot of face on that. They lost a lot of goodwill. They went from the biggest channel, Gary passing them up in like just a couple months, and I think it really hurt them in the long run. But I think what it shows, though, is for all of their, basically holding the candle for the mainstream in a lot of ways. They're basically documenting its downfall, but at the same time, they're like hoping for its return. They're holding a candle for its return. And I think my fundamental difference between me and them is that I'm looking for what's next. I actually got a show that's called What's Next. And so I'm looking for the future. I'm looking for future IPs. I'm looking for future creators. I'm looking to move away from these dead IPs and these corporations that have that stranglehold on them. Star Wars is dead. Even if tomorrow Kathleen Kennedy actually does get fired, that whole entire Lucasfilm from top to bottom would have to be gutted because it's all activists from top to bottom. They let Leslie Headland show run and gave her over $200 million as a showrunner. Leslie freaking Headland.
Yeah.
Okay. That's like giving Herman Goring a bank account.
She's a Nazi?
She was there.
She's a National Socialist from Germany?
No, she is the personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, that's great.
For nearly a decade.
Imagine the things she's seen. Ooh.
Imagine what she participated in. And,
she's God, I didn't want to go there.
no one's ever taken her to task for that. But Lucasfilm,
I bet he did. You know what I mean?
well, I don't know. He's them one of them days, I think. But but that's how corrupt they are. That's how corrupt they are.
Yeah, right. Sure.
Well, I mean,
well,
that's
they're completely sold
on
they're completely sold on the critical, Marxist critical theory and all that stuff, right? Because they're not only is it culturally, pervasive to academia, but it's also they get, funded by, say, BlackRock and ESG and all that shit, right?
Right.
Which that's been, I thought that was known for a long time. I guess not.
Yeah. We'll pivot to that shortly. Thank you, Corey. It's also pinned in the chat. And Michael Bancroft.
What's up, Bancroft?
That's a good way to get kicked off the show, dude. There you go. Anyway.
He said he's denouncing hate.
All right. hatred. He denounced hate against bunnies. Okay, I apologize. I apologize. Super
Yeah.
hot alien babe. Yeah, yeah. We're gonna get that very shortly. I'm talking about what's next. Anyway, he was implying that being anti-woke is inherently hateful, right? Yeah. So Stop Asian Hate campaign was starting at the same time as he went on stream. He's kind of obliged to say it, but the way he worded it made it sound like it's implying that Geeks and Gamers was that in Geeks and Gamers was hateful. Right. I'm sorry. Yeah, he continued it. And they took a lot of damage for that. Kevin Smith and others were shouting it on the video at the same time. Right. Yeah.
Who's being so hateful towards Asians?
Well, there was like in Atlanta, I think there was somebody that went and shot up a bunch of not massage parlors, but nail parlors or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like that particular time. But, I mean, there's a lot more damage going on in New York where people are getting Asian women and Asian men are getting like punched, but
by who?
Said anything about that. People of the darker persuasion. I'll say that much.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, that's why it was being buried. It's why it's being buried. Anyway, unless they somehow got back to the end of Return of Jedi, redo everything from there, continue on with Skywalker's story. The Star Wars will continue to be a dead story. That won't even work. They've lost. They lost Carrie. That won't even work. BlackRock ruins everything. They got one shot to get them all together, and they failed. Yeah, we're all crying when Acolyte got canceled, crying with relief.
I didn't even watch it. It didn't even interest me.
Almost
Though, just the
exclusively
idea.
black people. Yeah, almost exclusively black people was awkward for their ideology, right?
Right.
So basically,
just a couple of
basically,
rhetorical questions to old Mr. fucking director there would have been a good idea. Well, wait a minute. Who's giving all this Asian?
Exactly.
Paint him into a corner.
Well, I've seen the video, and then they all took it. Yeah, they're all like took it as an attack on them, but nobody said anything. They just let him go. And
yikes! Came in and big leagued them.
Yeah, I think it really damaged their reputation.
Whoops.
And later on, they tried to walk it back, but I think it really permanently damaged their reputation.
Yeah.
But it was basically the mainstream. Even if it's course corrects, it's dead. Even if it course corrects, there's too much corruption. There's too much, even if you take care of the heads of the snake, there's a lot of little snakes that they brought in, and they're not pivoting right now. You see, this Disney animation got rid of every white male that they had, and they went over to Illumination. So who's had the biggest success the last little while.
I mean, I get it. White people don't season their food, so
Well, there you go. But the bottom line is, it's mainstream is dying, and I really think that if they want to, I said hate watching. That's what the people call it, but I mean it's pop culture commentary on the conservative side, basically. And it's not really hate watching, but that's the phrase that everybody uses, and that's why I used it.
Yeah, because when they watch it and then they hate it, and they know going into watching it,
they know going in
most likely going to hate it.
Yeah, and so they do endless videos on it, and so I think the pivot needs to come to where they stop chasing the algorithm and stop boosting things that they know they're going to hate.
I'm sorry, Bunny, but that will not be happening.
No,
not as long as the spice flows.
As long as the spice flows, it will not. No. And they just got defended by YouTube against a bunch of people trying to get them demonetized. They got defended by Team YouTube. And so Team YouTube is quite on board with what they're doing, which would cause me to reevaluate myself. It's funny how they went from saying white Asians are white adjacent to stop Asian hate, and now they quietly lean back towards the white adjacent side of things, right?
Yeah.
They went back, right? Star Wars, for example, needs to be shelved for 10 years or more. That time Disney needs to be purged in an ideal world. But that's not going to happen, because just like our government, the people who would have to do the purging are the people that need to be purged.
I mean, ultimately, there are managers, right, within the production staff who are saying, yes, that's fine. Yes, that's fine. So,
Yeah.
I mean, not to blame Kathleen Kennedy in particular, but there are
Right.
people in there somewhere that are allowing and can, they're allowing and encouraging this kind of garbage to happen. So, hey,
Right.
if they have that much tax money to write off, $200 million on Acolyte or something, good for them.
Yeah.
But I don't intend on watching it. So,
Well,
not
Sony
only
is
that,
writing
but-
down. Well,
Go
Sony's
ahead.
about to write down that $200 million game that they just shelved, that they released, and then less than 11 days later they shelved it. They completely shut down Concord.
Concord. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I saw something about that. Yeah. Mhm.
And
Whoops.
and this was in production for 8 years. 8 years. This was going on. And so the problem is not, this behemoth is not going to correct itself overnight. And yeah, we see some movies coming out that are successful that have moved away from the woke ideology. Deadpool, Wolverine, Beetlejuice is killing at the box office. Twisters did earlier in the year, and these are being very successful. However,
Fall Guy was really good. I saw that too.
yeah, Fall Guy didn't get the looks that it needed, mainly because
It was fun.
Yeah. Well, but basically, what's happening though in this space is they're going to have to start love watching. They're going to have to start pushing things that they love. Surprise, surprise. Right. Surprise, surprise. DEI hires aren't lighting the world on fire with the creative.
Yeah,
no,
it's,
they're not.
I mean, I'm just gonna bring it up. It's like they say don't be sexist or racist or any of this other stuff, but then they specifically hire for sex and race, and it's like, okay,
Exactly,
well, I
exactly.
see that you're a Looney Tune, and why would you not want the best around you? Hire on merit and all that. I mean, come on, we all know those arguments, so it's just really weird at this point.
It is. It's very self-defeating. It's very hypocritical. But around here on this channel, we talk about what's next. And this.
Hey, look at that sexy beast.
This is part of. Yeah, this is part of what's next. It's.
I sure hope so.
That's one of the reasons why I want to bring you on today. Is I want to talk about this one of these great IPs that are coming up that are going to replace End of Geeks and Gamers, Nerdrotic, and all the others, all the ecosystem. If they want to pivot away from the mainstream, which is rightfully dying from self-emulation, then a good place to look is if they want to push Eric July stuff, I mean, God bless. He's starting to make some corrections, and I'm starting to see better product come out, and I'm encouraged by that. However, if they really want to push like things that I think are going to eventually become the next big thing, they really need to look beyond that and start looking beyond.
They're not really incentivized
and
to do
get
that.
beyond that expert. Yeah, they're not. It would take.
They'll
them,
they'll keep
mental effort to-
promoting those within their tribe. Which is fine.
Yeah,
That's
and,
it's totally up to them.
And which is this just it's fine. And I'll just keep pushing people that I believe you're one of them. And so let me play that trailer again. And this is pretty much tells you about the first book and goes into the second book. So watch this
I'll
trailer.
find you, Locutus, my creator. From your chaotic bones I shall make my order. Congratulations, recruits.
I'm so excited.
I don't want to babysit two spoiled princes.
I need to make a good impression of the soldiers. This is a silly waste of time.
What? Is that my long-lost magic ruby? Empress, find my ruby.
Your will is my command, my master. We're invading Terra to find Balmain's ruby.
Go forth, save the innocent, and punish the wicked. Yes, Father. I have an easy life. But is that all there is?
The ruby could win this war once and for all. Let's kick the nest and see what falls out.
Locutus calls to his creations for help.
Where are we?
What are those things? We have to get out of here.
Have the gods gone mad?
The Bomanites have invaded Terra. Has the last shard of Locutus' heart been found?
The war cannot continue without the heart. We can't risk losing it if it's there.
You've come to the wrong place. Terra is under my protection.
Look at those amazing covers, though. You got some incredible covers going on right there.
Thank you. Yeah, that's Corey Barton and Jimmy Reyes. So on the premium.
that's why he's pushing the Space Babe. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
More hotter babes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Corey's always about the babes, man. Always about the babes. Those brats really are spoiled. I bet there's more than what we're seeing on the surface, though. Yeah.
Yeah, and going into the second one, we get to see them kind of interact a lot more. Because the first one it was introduction to new characters, new setting. The plot going on, all of that was put into the 50 pages or whatever. So as the story progresses, we get to see everything we get to chew on all the information that we got in the first one. So yeah, we'll get to see everybody kind of interact a lot more in the second one and even in the third one. So, which by the way, the third one is well under production right now. I have a ton of sketch pages, and yeah, we're moving forward pretty steady. We're looking real good. Not only that, but I'm almost funded on the campaign so far. So that's exciting news.
Awesome. I forgot. Are you moving to Fund My Comic at some point?
I'm not sure. I think I'm going to do my own website and like on Wix or something. Okay. I think that's what Rini does. And I'm probably going to do that and try to just, do my whole website themed towards me and stuff like that, just to direct it to me. So.
Well, Fund My Comic has a widget that you can use that will allow you to host on their service, but use your own website.
There we go.
Just check with Luke on that. But one thing
if anybody wants a digital version of the first one, it's still on Fund My Comic. So
yeah, and I would highly suggest it before you get in the second book. This is a complicated story, and this is the first story that I've seen that has operated on. I've seen stories operate on 2 different levels, but yours operates on 3.
It's a bit much. Yeah,
you've got the small story, the contained story of the people on on the ground level. Then you have like the mechanizations of the kingdom, but then you have another level.
Setting.
Yeah, the setting, right? And then you have the other level of the gods. There's a conflict going on among the gods.
Yep.
And
I wanted it like a Clash of the Titans kind of view, right? So you get to see the normies, or the first. Think of it like a role playing game, right? You got your first level characters, and then the gods view would be like in game kind of characters, and you can see that the elites, right, the high ups, the god level kind of dudes, their effects on the small guys, right, the little guys down there, and how much they have to try to survive the whims of the higher ups.
Yeah. So what we're dealing with here is you're dealing with Pantheon, so you've got a lot of lore, got a lot of world building with not only do you have like the cultural world building, but you also have gone as far as the the socioeconomic and the religious world building. So you were operating on an entirely different level than a lot of writers that I see.
Well,
And,
it's a very lived-in world, and I know all of these characters. I've spent a lot of time with them. I know everything that they would say or do going forward. Not only that, but I know where they end up. So I'm not like making it up as I go, you know. And nothing that I've put into the first book as exposition or setup or any of that. All of that, none of that is decoration. All of that is used over time. So yeah, it's you know, once you jump in, you know, you'll be surrounded. But I do, you know, I slow it down a little bit because a lot of it was intro. So then in the second one, we get to kind of see them all, you know, interact, and we get to see more of their character, especially in a time of crisis, and how they interact with each other. Which for the first story arc is basically the whole point. Is the first 3 books is a story of these you know, these strangers being thrust into a you know, a war not of their making or understanding, and they basically have to find a way to get over themselves and each other's bullshit to work together to survive and find out how to you know, possibly go back home, if anything, just to survive. Now, what they don't know is that, you know, the overall, like the meta plot or whatever, is that there are you know, there's like the Bamain, who's kind of, I don't want to pigeonhole him into like, oh, he's the Satan character, but he's a big evil, right? And he wants to kill his creator. He wants to kill him because he believes that his creator has created this chaotic universe and brings suffering and pain with no reason. You know, he's like, none of this makes sense, and I want to create the universe in my own image because I know what's right. So in that way, you could be like a devil or Satan kind of character. But yeah, but our first level guys have no idea any of that's going on.
No, that's what's brilliant about it. So does the Blue Queen Babe take over the world? No,
I can't tell you that, Corey. I'm not spoiling anything.
All right. Already included Muhammad ibn Fadlan in one. That's from 13th Warrior, I believe.
Yeah, originally. Well, that's where his name was taken from. Yes.
Can't answer the poll really due to the way the question stated. It's lack conflation. What do you consider hate watching? Also, what I consider hate watching is the term that's applied to people who are pop culture commentaries, commenters that basically comment on things that they know that they're going to dislike, but they basically watch it anyway and create content off of that. That's what I would call hate watching. Would you agree with that, Aaron?
Sure. Yeah, when I saw Chrissy Mayer or whoever it was, I think that's her name. She's supposed to be a comedian. She was going into a movie and she made the soy face. I'm like, oh my God, these guys, I don't like, there's no self-awareness, I think. I don't think she was being sarcastic anyways.
I think she was. That's her brand, basically. Flip Magazine was hoping to catch this. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for coming. So let me check out the poll right quick. See what we got. I'm going to end the poll in it. All right. If you got any votes to make, the poll is in my chat. I'm going to end it in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Oh yeah,
4,
show us your poll.
3, 2, 1. All right, ending the poll now. All right, the no's had it by 56%. So that yeah.
Hate watching does not help, apparently, to your audience.
Well, to this audience, what poll? It's POLL.
Show us your poll.
Let me go on cam for just a second here. Anyway, so basically, yeah, this is not a bash these guys. I respect them and I believe in what they're doing. At least I believe in what they're doing up to 55 to 44%, 9 votes, according to the vote. Okay. But I believe in what they started out doing. I mean, a lot of them, weren't monetized for years, and they were doing it because they love it, and they're doing it because they had passion. And I believe in that. I have the same passion. I have the same love. However, I do think that there needs to be a evolution. There needs to they need to evolve away from pushing things that just need to go away.
Well, again, there's no
and what they're
incentive,
doing is
so that's not going to happen. Now, I'm sorry to interrupt, but like Michael Bancroft is saying, he's like, I don't engage in the hate watching at all, but I see the benefit in it for waking up normies to what's happened to entertainment, which is what we were talking about earlier. And yeah, it's a process though. And from what I've seen in the people that I've interviewed who are new creators in the indie scene, is like, yeah, they were or are fans of the Friday Night Tights kind of guys, right? The hate watchers, but they were tired of listening to the bitching, and they wanted to look originally to look for solutions or alternatives, and then for them it also became, I'm going to create alternatives, which is great. Let's add to the market, yeah, they do serve a purpose. I just don't really care for it, and I find, in my opinion, it adds to the very thing that they say that they're fighting against, because it adds to the despair and the Marxist critical theory. It's still put forward. They still ride the search, the keyword search for Disney topics, which is that's their business model. That's fine. But yeah, I don't really care for it. The best thing is that they introduce people to that first step of bitching and complaining and whining and rolling in their own feces and saying my childhood is dead. And then they've got to go, I'm tired of bitching and whining and rolling in feces. I'm looking for alternatives, which is great. It's what we need.
Well, what I think my suggestion, and I know they're not going to take my suggestion. I mean, I'm not even monetized. I don't have, I've got 39 people watching me right now, which it's probably my biggest total for a while.
What's up, guys?
Back,
yeah, buy my book, dude.
Yeah, it's pinned in the chat, and also in the description. But honestly, if they were to listen to me, which I know they aren't, but if they were, I would say to look beyond EVS and the ex mainstream pros, who dominate most of the space. Let's face it. Look beyond them, and also look beyond Mr. July, who's got enough more money than God, and is definitely dominating the space. And maybe look to people below that, who are creating absolutely brand new stuff. That was never sniffed the mainstream. They're doing it just completely, totally out of love. And they're doing it completely, totally out of affection, and with no expectation of even, making enough money that they won't be out of pocket sending books elsewhere, and maybe reach down to those people and give them a chance. I believe, like Aaron over here in Immortal Rising. It's a good example of that. I have a humble book. Okay. Also in the description, quick push on mine. But, at the end of the day, what's next is more important than what is, because what is not going to course correct. All of it's located in a place, a bubble that does not give them feedback, and the only way they get feedback is when it moves outside of that bubble and dies, and it horribly the reactions and everything, which is Concord. Those people had you see the post of those people at Concord. Anybody could have told them it was going to die. Anybody could have told them it was going to die. And then when it hit and immediately didn't even get 1K concurrent players, which is death, immediate death. And it got yanked after 11 days. And none of them had any clue, because until they get outside that bubble, they don't. There's no feedback. Let me stop my camera. But there's no feedback whatsoever. And so there's no course correction possible, because they're never going to be the people that is basically going to be the ones that they look to help them course correct are in the same bubble they are in.
Yeah.
And unless you have context, unless you look beyond that, and the people that they need to please to have the success that they're desiring are people that they despise. And so even if, and a lot of them are over emotional, a lot of them are very stuck in their political ideology. And so the idea of death is more appealing to them than course correction, if it pleases people that they despise.
Yeah. That sounds healthy. That's not toxic at all.
It is not. It is not healthy.
Yeah.
And so by continuously putting a spotlight on their struggling efforts, and not just walking away and letting it die quietly, peacefully, while they screech online quietly and peacefully, and just basically close that door and let it die in peace. And let's find out what else is out there, and let's try to replace it with cooler stuff. That's not derivative. That's not played out to the nth degree. 1 second, let me go ahead and get caught up on the chat. A lot of us move past the mainstream bad commentary, writing our own stuff. Right. Disagree. People the stuff is made for don't watch is enough, at least. Hate watching isn't going to change the bad from being bad. It's just bad. Right. There's no correction coming. And so it doesn't make sense. I'd say look at me. All right. There you go. Flip City Magazine. Check them out. And then Agree Bunny, like seeing Ripa's video shouting out all those newer creators, but also we have to do the work. Can't rely on other successes. Right. He shouted out new creators. Really? That's not. I have to see which creators he called new. Be interesting. Agreed Wrangler motivated me to start my fantasy story. Fun seeing people do all this cool stuff. Yeah. Including Immortal Rising. So check that out. Any last words, Mr. Aaron?
Yeah, you got to go out there and you got to buy. You got to go back all these indie people. Find something that you like. Go participate. Don't just hate watch. Don't be that guy, right? Don't sit there and just be like, oh, they've killed He-Man. Oh, Star Wars is over, or whatever it is. So go find something you do like. Find someone who doesn't hate you. Give them your hard-earned money, and they will appreciate you, and they will do the best that they can to make you happy. So go help them out. Not only that, but you're not backing a corporation who, you know, like we've just been talking about, who doesn't like you, is funded by those who want to undermine your entire existence. Go find somebody else. You know, somebody with like me, with family, with passion for their project, somebody who gives a shit about you. Buy their stuff, buy it up, find what you want, then tell other people about it. Hit likes. You know, sub stuff, all that stuff matters. That's the real way that you win, right? Not by hate watching this shit, giving them views and then clicks on complaining about Acolyte. Well, Acolyte's in the, you know, and not everybody that does that is bad. Like for instance, I was on Common Nerd, who is kind of adjacent to all these guys, and although he does shows where, you know, they do culture commentary, you know, pop culture commentary. He also had people like me on, where he was like, "Hey, here's some indie people."
Yeah,
I'm not the only one. He does others as well. So shows
I
like that,
definitely-
I have no problem with at all. So, it's the ones that don't even try to do that. That don't even talk about there being, a market out there. They just do that grind, for the clicks and the hate and the whatever. It's like you've got to get your mind out of the despair bucket.
Well, I agree. A blended show. Start blending these shows and start looking also what's next.
Yeah.
Post the link for what? The link is pinned in the chat right now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, go check me out. You're gonna, man, if you like anime or manga, or if you like fantasy at all, I really think you're gonna enjoy Immortal Rising, and it will definitely fill that
and you're gonna
hole
find a
that
lot.
you've been looking to fill. What's that? I'm sorry.
And there's a lot of these books are on Fund My Comic. Fund My Comic is the alternative to Indiegogo and Kickstarter, and it is a website that was built for people who are in the independent space, who aren't going to get six-figure campaigns every time they if they take a dump in a box and put it on the market, and which some of these guys do. It's just in book form, but
graphic.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. And so I think that that's Fund My Comic is needs support, needs people to check out and back campaigns on there. I know everybody's financially strapped right now, but it's a lower fee. The people that are on Fund My Comic get more of the money. And the proprietor of the website is one of us. He's also a creator, creates hybrids. He's just an amazing man, Luke Stone. And so Fund My Comic, I highly suggest if you don't know about that, or if you've never visited that website, you're going to find a lot of cool stuff on there, including the digital copy of Immortal Rising 1, which is also on there.
Heck yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, post whatever link you want to post, Wakebreaker, but Immortal Rising's pinned. It's also in the description. I took care of that. So if you don't funnel people away from crap towards things that are good, it's a real wasted opportunity. Yeah, exactly. Hey, WEF Patsy. Yeah, man, you got to watch the replay, man. We're about to go. Anyway, you're definitely late. Agree, Immortal, even the ones you mentioned, has stuff coming up. We will see how it turns out, I guess. Where's Luke been? Luke has really, he's had some problems here lately, and but he's starting to come out of it. However, the website could really use some traffic right now. He's not going to like say so, but it does need more traffic to stay viable. So if you get a chance, go by Fund My Comic, check it out. And if you have a campaign that you want to post somewhere, you do get more of your money back from Fund My Comic than you get from Indiegogo or Kickstarter. You don't have to worry about some blue hair getting butt hurt and taking your campaign down on Kickstarter, or shadow banning you on Indiegogo. So once again, Fund My Comic is the official website of this show. So go check it out. Anyway, thank you all for coming. Thank you, the fluffiest chat, all of YouTube. Thank you, Aaron C, for coming and risking cancellation with me. And
hey, I'm not afraid. Let's do it, buddy.
He's not afraid. Once again, thank you for coming to the call-in show. If you want to be on the show, just DM me on X. Got somebody coming on next week. It's going to be a special show next week at 4:00 for his. We're 5 hours behind him, and that's the time he needed for that to work out. So let me get his name right quick. But he's got next. Let's see, it's Will Robson, and he has got a monster comic. So we're going to talk about why. Let me get the name of the comic right quick. Monster Mash. And so we're going to talk about why the Universal monsters are still viable all these years later. I mean, they're making a whole entire theme park in Orlando based on the Universal monsters. So they're still viable. They're still making bank in modern times. We're going to talk about that, and also talk about this comic a little bit. That's going to be next week's special time for o'clock p.m. EST. So come on back, and once again, check out Immortal Rising and check out Fun My Comic. But thank you all for coming. Remember, follow the White Rabbit. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.